Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Divyani.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. Thank you.
Pleasure to have you here. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. It's my pleasure, completely my pleasure.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Vikas. We have with us is Mr. Sudhir there. Yes. Hello, Mr. Sudhir.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
So Sudhir from Amrita are collaborators and our co-partners in hosting. We have Ms. Soma Dam. Hello, Soma.
Hello, Devyani. How are you doing?
Good, and thank you so much for taking this time out from your busy schedule. It's always wonderful to see you and have your insights, great insights as a counselor. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you for having me.
And we have Dr. Vikas. Hello, Dr. Vikas. Dr. Vikas, if you could switch on your camera. You are on mute, Dr. Vikas.
Yeah, hi, ma'am. Very, very good evening, Divya, ma'am.
Good evening.
And very, very good evening to all the lovely educators.
Good evening, and pleasure is all ours to have you. This
Same
was
here.
Tech Check, and we have with this Ananya. Hello, Ananya.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Excuse me, ma'am.
All right, so we have a lot of kids, we have educators, we have some great academicians, principals, as always. And it is for Team Edudevs. Can we start?
Yes, ma'am.
A very good afternoon to one and all. And in Gurgaon, the weather is beautiful. The weather has suddenly changed. In fact, from the morning itself, it was, and now it is raining. There is a thunder. And thank you so much, especially Ms. Somadam and Dr. Vikas. I don't know about the weather for the weather bulletin in the other cities, but thank you so much for skipping this beautiful weather and not enjoying it and being part of this our show. And I'm delighted today to welcome you all to this series of futuristic education. This is becoming extremely popular. In fact, I keep seeing so many competitors coming up with doing similar series. I'm so sorry, with similar episodes and series. And it's always good to be the trendsetters, to be the trailblazers. And these are a web series dedicated to education, an Edudevs initiative in association with Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham to enlighten and empower the educator community in the latest trends that are happening in education. We bring those topics which are relevant to the student fraternity, to teachers, to the management, which are becoming the change makers of the trends in education 4.0, and soon that will be 5.0. Now, these are a city-based web series. Today, I'm happy that it's an amalgamation. We have representatives from two cities. We have from Varanasi and Gurgaon. We have leaders from these cities who will then be voicing their views and making the general public aware about what are those trends of 21st century and how they are impacting and shaping the contours of the education that will be soon seen. And I'm Devyani Kapoor, your host and moderator for the day. And today I have with me Miss Vrinda Sharma, a second-year student from LSR doing sociology honors, and in turn with Edudevs Knowledge Foundation. And today she will be a co-moderator with me. Without much ado, let me quickly introduce you to our esteemed panel of today. Let us welcome Mr. Sudhir Katumala, Head Career Counselor, Directorate of Admissions, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham University, Coimbatore. Welcome you, Sudhir. I think it's a mutual welcome because the show is hosted by both the organizations.
Thank you. Thank you. A very warm good evening for all.
Thank you. Today, and Sudhir, I think next time I'm going to call you to moderate as well, because this is today we have with us our esteemed Miss Alpona De, Principal Maharishi Patanjali Vidya Mandir, Prayagraj. She is a successful premier and inspiring leader, reflective practitioner, and an enlightened source and motivational force with a panoramic experience of 35 years. You know, when you're in education for 3 decades, it almost gets into your DNA. Welcome, ma'am, to this episode.
Thank you. For me, it is a great learning experience. Thank you so much.
And we have with us somebody who has been creating ripples in the, because more I hear her, more I get enlightened. She's a friend. She has been a colleague. Let's welcome Miss Soma Down, Counselor, Head Senior Secondary School Career Guidance Counseling Cell of Sun City World School. Now, Ms. Soma has been from an educator, becoming a career counselor and a career coach. And I'm sure the students, parents, and teachers will have immense takeaway from her insights. We welcome you, Ms. Somada.
Thank you, Devyani, and thank you, Edudevs, and thank you, Amrita, for having me over. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure. We have with us Mr. Vikas Vijay, Dr. Vikas Vijay, guest speaker. Recently, Dr. Vikas was felicitated with Mentor of the Month award by Amazon Book Bazaar. He is also featured on official page of Amazon Book Bazaar. In our course of conversation, we will hear more insights of what they do and how they perceive today's topic. So
Thank you, Divya.
today's topic, which is, welcome, sir, insight into career and trends in the higher education, is not just a trending topic today. It is a trending topic generally because people are wanting and clamoring to know how the future of their children, future of students will be shaped. Continuing the new tradition created in our recent webinars, we have with us a special youth guest. And today's guest is Miss Ananya Goyal, Class 12, GEMS Modern Academy, Gurgaon. Welcome, Ananya. Are you there?
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a great opportunity to be here today.
Welcome. Great. Now, improving student outcome starts with, I feel, understanding what motivates different types of learners and what their unique needs are. Because the whole journey of identifying what you want to do, which college you want to go, which course you want to, it all starts from here when you understand and identify and ultimately relate to what you want to do. in the last few years, the landscape of higher education and career trends has completely changed because of number of trends that were emerging on the social, technological, financial, academic fronts. Too many positions remain, if I look at the job market, too many positions remain unfilled despite extended vacancy announcements. We shall know more about it here, how the students should select their streams, what they should be doing, what not they should be doing, more from our esteemed panelists today. We will have 2 rounds, three rounds. One is the ice-breaking round, a same question being addressed to all our 3 panelists. And the time for this round is 2 minutes. So please keep yourself brief and crisp. We will have another one-on-one question with you where you can take up to 4 to 5 minutes to express your thoughts. Thank you so much. And the order would be same as you were introduced. First, Ms. Alpona, then Mr. Sudhir, Ms. Soma, and then Dr. Vikas. Thank you so much. So my ice-breaking question to you all today is, what is the most recent global trend in the higher education scene, which is fast catching up on the youth of the country? Because let's start from the most basic, that, what is the youth need to know and how they need to think. So that is my question. Yes, Ms. Alpona.
Thank you, Devyani. You have put up a very, very valid question, which is actually the need of the hour. Initially, the parents and the students had 3 major options: going into medicine, going into engineering, or maybe administrative jobs. But the scenario has changed completely, and the children and the parents, some of the parents definitely, are aware about the new options that are coming up. But definitely, as the head of an institution, it is our job, the counselor's job in our schools, to actually make them aware about the new avenues that are coming up. In fact, there are so many children who are taking up pure sciences, going into research work. There are so many students who are picking up subjects like economics, psychology, becoming clinical psychologists, and taking up jobs in the banks after doing their economics. So in fact, the scenario has changed. But moreover, as the head of an institution and being a counselor also is very important to guide our children for these new avenues. So Devyani, we are looking forward to some more learning from your other panelists, and I'm sure our children will be benefited out of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, Ms. Alpona, you really set the tone from, near to far, that there were limited fields, but suddenly we talk about, we really don't know what kind of jobs will be there. So what is it that the student needs to be prepared? And let's just hear it out from our other panelists. So I move on to Mr. Sudhir Katumala. Yes, Mr. Sudhir, what would you have to reflect on this?
Yes, ma'am. Coming from a higher education scene, because I am working for one of the premier institutes in the country, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. See, there are things. It's not about the streams now, because students are getting smarter now. They have options. For me, when I'm studying, there was only engineering and medicine, but now students are given an options around 30, 33 options to choose from, actually, what kind of career he goes into. So schools are having the ecosystem already, but how universities are adapting to it, or universities, how trends are happening in universities. There is a more learner-centric approach. Universities are giving personalized, tailored experience to support learners' education experience and outcome. So this is increasing day by day, even in higher education scenario. So schools, it might be happening up to a certain extent, but higher education universities, they are personalizing these learning outcomes in a way more aggressive or proactive way. And one more main thing is because of the digital boom or the technological boom that we have because of the pandemic, the competition among students is huge. Okay, it's not like before they are not aware of things. Now everybody is aware of what are the things they need to do to get into a particular career, and they have access to it easily. They can access these things from remote places. So students are now getting to understand that they can get an education at their learning pace from in higher education also, and they know they need to compete for a particular course for a degree. Okay, I mean there is a greater competition because of the digital divide decreased among all our nation now. So this scenario is changing. Even the way universities are approaching the students from schools is changing. I think day by day, I think for a couple of days back I saw an article saying CUET, JEE, NEET, everything will be combined. Okay, the higher education scenario is trying to evolve to give a student a better learning experience, better opportunity, and with good enough resources that they can grow into or they can learn from to get into these universities. Okay, actually, students are having a beautiful advantage now in utilizing these resources. Only the thing which we need to do is make the teachers and the community aware of these things happening in higher education space.
Great.
Yes.
I think thank you so much that the realization is there, the way the universities are evolving and how this technology has expedited the whole scenario. So everything from what kind of courses to what kind of admission process, everything is, kind of undergoing metamorphosis and transforming. So yes, we all have to kind of be prepared, but also wait and watch how the new trends emerge. Thank you so much, Sudhir. We shall be back soon. So let's move on to, yes, Soma, what is then your perspective? Because, you're like that bridge, you're also in the classrooms, you're dealing with the students. At the same time, they are coming to you for career counseling. So, we really want to know what is the reality? How things are changing?
Yeah. So I think I would like to play the devil's advocate here and go contrary to what the panel is saying and suggest that actually things really haven't changed that much. We'd like to believe that things have changed, but so from 3 options, we've moved to 5. We've not moved to 100 options, especially when it comes to parents. Parents still think in terms of silos of science and commerce and humanities. The fact that you can do a physics with a psychology with a painting and still do well later on in life is something that will take some time for parents to be comfortable with, because the examples that they see around them are examples of their peers who have taken those 3 options, right? Students, luckily, thankfully, are smarter. So they know that the world outside and the job world that they will step into will have a plethora of options for them. And learning will not be restricted to the classrooms. Learning is everywhere right now. So we have moved from learning from anywhere to learning from everywhere, literally, from the phone to the laptop to whatever. With hybridity coming in big measures, they can really learn anything and everything from anywhere and everywhere. So that's the important thing, I think, as a student, is to focus on key skills that will hold you in good stead 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line. As long as your skill sets are in place, I think you're good to go. So that's my 2 cents.
Great. Thank you so much, Soma. I think that has really made things very easy and comprehensible, that you say that things are really not the fear, the anxiety that all of us as laymen are living with, that probably with the VUCA world, with the technology innovation, things for a segment of students or people will probably become inaccessible, become difficult. But very beautifully said that it's not so much change, maybe from 3 to 5 to 7 or probably 10, but you can't go up to 100. That's the reality. Second, skill set. That's something you have dwelt upon, that more skill set has to be properly honed so that whatever in future we see, we are equipped to handle the situation. Thank you so much, Soma. We shall come back to you. And let's now hear what Dr. Vikas, what is that new tangent or element that Dr. Vikas would be adding? Yes, Dr. Vikas.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. First of all, great insight shared by Alpona, ma'am, Sudhir, sir. But I would go with the Soma, ma'am, because I also feel the same. Because there's a signature quote of mine. The quote is, change yourself, otherwise you will be exchanged. Change yourself, otherwise you will be exchanged. So what does it mean? The change is constant. Since I'm into this profession from last 27 years, every year we take workshop in around 150 schools, till now train more than 1 million students. So what is my perception is like, when you go for the jobs, the degrees get you the job. That is, you get the job because of the two skills. The main skill, what I feel is the degrees, the BCom honors, MCom, CA or JE, everything. So you get jobs for your skill, but you are fired for your behavior. So that is the one thing. If you're looking for the future perspective, you should have both the skill. That is one, the selling skill. The other is the people skill. What is being missed out in our education system? I was there for 15 years in a school, New Era Public School, Mayapuri, worked with the CBSE, developed the projects for CBSE, NCRT. I have seen what we are teaching and what is being required by the market is totally different. There's a gap, huge gap. So we need to fill the gap. And thanks to Devyani ma'am for putting up this beautiful question. And if we work out together, and the students are also there, I can see the Ananya is also there. She would agree. When we move on to the actual world, the business world, there we see that yes, what was being taught and what is being expected by the entrepreneurs, by the leaders, is totally different. So what I would suggest, because before the COVID, I started everything online. Maybe around 2017 was the first time I went online to all the schools and colleges in Gulf. So that was a time where the teachers were wondering what is online, what is Zoom. No one was having the idea. In one of my workshop in Punjab, there was an old lady. She said, "Beta, now I am 58 years old. Now 2 years are left for my retirement. So what is the being use of this Zoom and technology?" So I said the same thing. In present scenario, what one thing in the higher education has played the role, and you all know the stats, that our online education has surpassed $315 billion industry in 2021. And now in next year, 24, every year there will be a 20% increase in this figure. So what does it mean? The need of the hour in higher education, one is the technology would play a very, very vital role. Second will be, that is a gamification of everything. Whatever we are teaching now is being obsoleted. Everything would be based on the gamification, on artificial intelligence, and the blockchain system. What we say, the cryptocurrency is based on that. So these are the three biggest changes which you will see from 2024. Every educational company, every online company, every educational platform would be incorporating all these three things, which I have already taken care of, already transform all the curriculum into these three by evolving this. So this is what in higher education we have to use all these three things. Otherwise, we will have the same code. We need to change ourselves. Otherwise, we'll be exchanged. And this is the one thing. The soft. And when I say soft skill, it includes fourth thing: TTED. T is the teamwork. Other is the time management. E is the empathy, and D is the delegation. This will be required at the higher level education.
Thank you so much, very crisp. And I really, resonate with your one statement, which you said that most important skill, that you're hired for your skills, but you're fired for your behavior. I think this soft skill or this behavioral skill is the most important, no matter how good we are in our, X raised to power infinity skills. But if we don't have the behavioral skill, then all the other. And I would like to because this is more like a conversational platform where we make people aware. It is that so many times the newcomers, I being like our organization, which gives a lot of platform and lot of opportunities to incorporate and integrate new talents I have actually seen and I have fired people, and I have no shame in that, because they did not know how to understand a work culture, how to, remain, how to adhere to the working norms, whether they are a remote or they are physical. So, yes, that again is extremely, extremely important. Thank you so much, sir. Now, the first question I would like to ask is to Sudhir sir. Sudhir sir, tell us that, digital learning environment, and because you've been talking about, technology, and everybody has been here talking about that, technology is going to be a great enabler in this uh, education 4.0, education 5.0 system. Now, digital learning environment and students switching to online mode of education in the new norm is here to stay, and we are now following it. This is a stabilizing factor in uncertain times. So, number one, in the uncertain times, this is, but today when things are, little settling, uh, how valid it is, and what would be its pros and cons, and how could, if you could also link it to our main area of discussion, that is careers and higher trends. Added, yes.
Yes, ma'am, that's a good question, because when, as a university, we faced a lot of hurdles during this pandemic time to deliver these lectures, which involves practicals also. Like if for every subject there is a lab work required. So we try to adapt to that, and I will say there is no denying in the fact that digital learning won't go away. It will be staying with us, and we should adapt how to utilize it. For example, the advantages of digital learning, this environment, there are disadvantages also. I'm not denying that also. There are advantages will are more. For example, I can access wide range of classes or topics easily. But today I want to learn about a concept, and it requires very easy for me to gather that information. Now I can access that classroom anywhere. Before, if I want to listen to a foreign professor, it used to be very hard. Now it is easy. And the main important thing of this digital learning is having recorded lectures. A lot of students couldn't be with the pace of the teacher. Sometimes I might be physically present in the class, and I might not be listening also. But I can go back again, just review that lecture, just stop at that point, or when I am solving a question, or when I'm doing homework, I got a topic which I couldn't understand. I'll just go back to that lecture, just listen to that part where my professor or my teacher explained the topic, so it can give a better aid in understanding the concepts well. And main thing is it can be easily personalized. So this is the main thing which is going to change, or which is going to revolutionize, because personalized learning will increase in the coming days. Today education people are investing a lot. The main thing, a parent comes to a teacher and say, my kid is unable to understand, ma'am, can you help him understand in a more efficient way? The first concern he will ask, or can you help him, can you sort his doubts easily? So they are asking personalized teaching in a physical way, but now a teacher can do it in a digital way, much more easier actually. And he can develop more efficient programs to help the student learning capability or learning pace. Okay, we can reorganize the whole classroom in that way. And there are other things like there are a lot of less paperwork involved, and creativity also will be increased in terms of students, because they need to report their work back digitally also. We saw all these things when we are asking students to do this, make a presentation, make a video of what's your work, what's your day. They were coming up with brighter ideas. And there are disadvantages, like not everybody can afford 100 Mbps internet to do an effective work, because we are living in different parts of the country. Not everybody is having 5G signals. So there are some technological digital divide is there, but it's going to be eradicated in the coming days. And one more thing is like social contact. So how much uh, contact we are having with the kids, I mean, with the peers and all. And all these things, one important thing it is dependent on is self-motivation. There is nobody will be there to motivate me to listen to that class until unless I have that motivation. So that is the main drawback also. Nobody can motivate you digitally in a more effective way. Physically means it's easy to motivate him, at least show him or pat him or make him stand or understand it. That's an easy way. But self-motivation is a very hard thing to do, or hard thing to do by a student perspective, because they might not understand the importance of the things that they are learning in a much easier way. So those are the disadvantages are there. But I'll say it will stay. We should adapt to it. People will say there is a lot of screen time. There are things which we need to work out a way for all these things. Yes, I hope I have answered it.
Yes, absolutely. And I would just like you to kind of, if very quickly, are to list two pros and two cons. So definitely you spoke about personalized, but I just want to know if you just identify and reduce it to two points. What would it be?
I say, ma'am, it can be easily personalized, ma'am, because it's way more effective. I can learn at my own pace. That is main advantage. And access to various topics or various subjects easily. If I have interest in learning something, instead of waiting for somebody to make me or give that opportunity, I can get it online or I can get it virtually if I have interest in that topic. So that's why people are getting these certification courses virtually very easily.
Yeah.
And if you say, if you ask me disadvantages, lack of social contact is the primary thing, which is very much essential. All these people will struggle when they come to a real life scenario to interact with people. So they'll feel shy and all. And one more disadvantage is self-motivation. And they won't. It requires a lot of self-motivation to learn in a way like this.
Right. I think very well said that one is personalized learning happens. Accessibility is something, in the cheapest form and most accessible. And the disadvantages, yes, the social contact, and I can actually relate it to what Dr. Vikas said, that, that is the reason, because somewhere we are very apt with our skills, the tech skills or other industry specific skills, but losing on to our core skill, which is the behavior. Thank you so much, Sudhir. Thank you so much. So I would like to continue this conversation with Soma. And Soma, tell me that, higher education trends show that, and you did speak about skills, that learning exceeds degree programs. And what are the few essential higher education skills that you suggest to your students while they are selecting or applying for certain courses, or, so what is it that you would like to?
Okay, so if I can just continue with what Sudhir sir has said about, how it works, the pros and the cons. So the pro is, of course, with hybrid learning, or it just immerses the learner into learning, so you can learn from everywhere and anywhere and from anything and everything. So the learning experience therefore becomes multidimensional. It helps all kinds of learners. You have the audio learner, you have the visual learner. So therefore, digitalization works in that manner. It's very customized. It appeals to a wide cross section. The con, I am a teacher. I am, living with students right now who have come out of 2 years of pandemic and online classes. And I see the challenge in simple things like focusing for 10 minutes, because that's the biggest curse of digital education. Your attention span goes for a toss, because your images are constantly moving, your eyes are rapidly moving. So therefore, you want to move on to the next page. You can't sit there and focus and write, sorry, we are an assessment-driven country, that's 6 marker, which requires you to write 200 words. So coming out of the pandemic, I see that loss of skill set. So when I'm advising my students, I normally tell them that there are two things which will never go out of fashion when it comes to skills: numeracy and literacy. As long as these two skills are sorted, you will always be relevant to any or most industries. And going into the future, numeracy is something that we really cannot afford to be hesitant about or shy of. We are increasingly stepping into a digital world, and digitalization requires a certain level of comfort with numbers and mathematics. Maths has become a language. So just like it is important for you to speak, to know a language, be it Hindi, English, whatever, it's also going to become increasingly important for you to be comfortable with numbers and maths at a certain level or of a certain level. There is no running away from that. So that's something, because when students come to 11th and 12th, that is their major question. That is the major struggle, as school leaders also face it, teachers also face it, because math in 11th and 12th is a different ball game as compared to 10th, 9th and 10th and the rest of school. Most students want to take it, some want to drop it. So that struggle, of to and fro, yes, no, what to do with math. Because if the curriculum can be tweaked, if the boards can come out with different levels of mathematics, like it is there, for example, in IB or IGCSE, where there's an extended or a core version or a higher level or a standard level, it just gives the opportunity for students to not completely let go of this key skill. And of course, even though ChatGPT might write your essay, but remember, the person reading that essay is not another machine. It's going to be another human being. So as long the essays, the stories, the poems are being read by human beings, there is no algorithm that can fine tune it to touch human emotions. So as long as your literacy skills and your numeracy skills are in place, you're good to go.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Soma. And I would numeracy, literacy, and I would also add, and I would like you to just very briefly make one comment on the behavioral skills as well. So they are becoming your emotional quotient, your empathy, the quotient where your emotions there is. So if you could also enlighten us.
Yes, for the last 2 years, most people have been cooped up with their families in a single room with one machine, right? And then you've all of a sudden just pushed them into the space. So right from nursery to grade 12, social skills have taken a huge hit. The initial reluctance, the lack of momentum that was there when we opened schools full-fledged in the month of April, absenteeism would be a big cause. There would be a lot more other, behavioral issues in schools. And I think most schools made the mistake of saying, okay, these things will fall in place. Let's just continue with studies. That was not the correct approach. We needed to first sort this out. Luckily, there was course correction. We realized that starting from nursery to grade 12, each age cohort have come with their own social emotional gaps. And it is important that we address it over a period of 5, 6, 7, 8 years, even with the curriculum. So with the NEP talking about bagless days, with the NEP talking about days of joy and fun in school, I think that is the whole point, the whole agenda of bringing in happiness and bringing in the feeling that at the end of the day, human race is about living in a group. It's not solitary existence.
I think this conversation is going becoming so interesting. And one question again, because Soma, you deal in the classrooms and constantly you are with that age group. And is there any, because suddenly two skills are becoming very important. And again, after that, I would like Ms. Alpona to dwell upon, and then her question, that one is the technical skill where Dr. Vikas spoke about, that AI and ML and all these things will stay. Suddenly, parallelly, another course is becoming very important, which is liberal arts. And here we are also talking about the behavioral skill, the emotional quotients, the behavioral skills. How is this, I am unable to place that. On the one side, we have Education 5.0, which is marked by metaverse, cryptocurrency, machine learning, artificial intelligence. On the other, suddenly there is a rise. These are two very different parallel trends, Soma. If you could tell.
I know, I will give you the example of, I think, if there are students out there, they would have watched this series called The Last of Us, trending big time on, all over the net because of its hero and the lead heroine. It's about a post-apocalyptic world, right? And the struggle there is for connection. Or if you were to go back, way back to, Keanu Reeves talking about the Matrix, it's again the human connection, right? So irrespective about how digitalized we become, we're always looking for that human connect. And the human connect was taught in school, is taught via the curriculum also. Nursery, when children come in pre-nursery, they are in their cocoon world of very individualized existence. And slowly the journey, the socialization happens where they learn to play along in a group, right? So that skill and that essential learning had come to a halt in the years of the pandemic. And now coming back to the classroom, we are rebooting, we are relearning, and we are bringing it in a different way, because you cannot be packaging the same old product in a new packaging and try to sell it off. It's not going to work, because you will then have to come up with newer ways of engaging this audience who are far ahead of us in terms of, so we are digital dinosaurs, most of us, they're digital natives. We have to find that human connect and that bridge. Otherwise, it's going to be chaotic.
Great. Thank
And
you.
Ukraine
so
and
much.
Russia are a huge example of that.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Soma, for simplifying and letting us know that yes, we are rebooting the whole system somewhere, and for that we need to condition our students' minds as well. Let me also take this opportunity to tell you, if the students and teachers are here, that on 8th of April, we are coming up with the mega webinar, which will have multiple sessions on how well you can navigate your career path by choosing the right stream. So please register with us for our mega webinar on 8th April. Moving on to now, Miss Alpona. Yes, Alpona ma'am. Now, a principal's perspective. What do you recognize as, because top challenges in higher education from a student perspective? Because I'm sure, the results are out, you would be just engaged in that, who's getting where, what are the challenges, somebody is needing, some recommendations, somebody is not following. So what are those challenges and what are the aspirations? Please let us know.
I would first like to say that what Soma said, we are going through a similar phase. Like after the phase when online teaching was at its peak, we definitely found children getting connected to so many online courses and diplomas and degrees. They picked up so much about artificial intelligence, coding, etc. But definitely that human connect was missing. So when they came back to school, we took a lot of time in bringing them back to the regular mainstream. But definitely, I would say that the teachers of most of the schools would agree with me that it is difficult, but not impossible to bring back our children to the mainstream. Now, coming to the question that you have put up, ma'am, our children pick up various avenues and streams after completing their +2 level. But when they come and meet us, they do tell us that they are facing a few challenges. Like I would quote one example from my own school, wherein this child was a topper of our school. And when he went to a prestigious college, he found that he is not amongst the top cream of the school students. And therein he was developing a sense of inferiority complex, a fear, and he was finding it very difficult to cope up with the new place, new environment, and definitely he took a lot of time. Then choosing a good college. Sometimes children pick up colleges without taking a lot of information. Of course, there are a lot of information on the internet, the social networks, and of course, the alumni is given a lot of inputs. But once these children move on to these colleges, they find themselves not to choose the right one. Third one, which I would again say it's my personal interaction with one of the children, like the child picks up a stream without thinking that he has not taken up mathematics at the +2 level. As we said, that numeracy has now become a language. The child did not have maths at the +2 level, and he chose to study something very different. But there also the child realized that maths at the +2 level would have helped the child. So again, this is one of the major areas where we need to work, because avenues are many, but we need to guide our children. That guidance is missing, that what are the prerequisites before the child joins that course or joins that particular college. So these are three major issues which I think needs to be addressed in the larger perspective, so that we are able to guide the coming generations. Now, again, another issue is when the child leaves the house and moves to a boarding house or maybe a PG, as the coming trends are, the child faces difficulty in interacting with his roommate or maybe the flatmate, because the social interaction has gone down. In fact, parents also start believing that IQ is more important than EQ or SQ. So I would say, as an educationist, IQ is important, but in the present scenario, the EQ and the social quotient is also very important. So we need to make our children strong so that they can interact and mix up with the society. I have seen children coming back to their houses because they are not able to share with a roommate. They are not able to pick up the skills that are given in their colleges because they are not in the comfort zone. So these are the basic challenges which I have come across from my alumni, from the children picking up prestigious colleges after school.
Great. I think, thank you so much. These are really real challenges that you have, highlighted that students are facing. And I would like to now move on to Dr. Vikas, because I think everybody is bringing in so much of perspective to this whole topic and I'm giving you people enough time to, so that the audience can get a rich and satiating takeaway. So, Dr. Vikas, first question I would like to ask you is that I would like you to answer and provide some of the solutions to what Ms. Alpona just mentioned. Maybe second, I would like you, because you were speaking about technology and you said that so beautifully, you have integrated technology when it comes to your curriculum or digitized, and way back, you were using technology when people didn't even know about Zoom. So I think that's, so digital learning, my second question would be digital learning environment and students switching this would be that technology is constantly evolving. You said it affects the future of education industry trends, and hence the need is more to update the traditional curriculum as you've done it. So where does India stand? You've been talking about data for other things. Can you also let us know? And you are in Gulf, as you said. So where does India stand in this evolution of curriculum changes that are happening? But first, I would like you to answer or try and provide solutions to what Ms. Alpona said.
Fine, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am. So for that, I would love to ask one question to the audience. Why it is so? We teachers teaches a batch of, say, for example, 40 students in a classroom. We are so qualified. Fine. But why it is so that in spite of teaching the same concept, same worksheet, same test paper, why everyone is not able to get 100% or 90% in the board exam or in the classroom exam? Though we teachers never do any partiality. Any one student can answer this. Why it is so in our education system, we as teachers, we teach in a same manner to the whole lot 40 students. Why everyone is not getting 90%? My answer and the reply to the Alpona ma'am has shared very good example, and I have one case study in my family also what Alpona ma'am has said. So I have a lot to discuss with you. Anyone can, yeah. If anyone can tell me what is the reason why in a classroom everyone is not getting, yeah, orange is not equal to apple. Beautiful, ma'am. Beautiful. Yes. I can see, and a lot of answer which I get in my workshop is that different understanding level. Every child is different. In PTM also we say, "Aapka bacha kar sakta hai, lekin karna nahi chahta." So we have got this all these theoretical lines with us to share in the PTM. So when I went to my mentor Tony Robbins, I'm a master NLP trainer. If you have heard of NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming, my mentor is from USA, Tony Robbins. When I asked the same question, that sir, I teach beautiful. I'm the author of Together with Accountancy from last 26 years, 27 years. But why my every child is not getting 90%? He asked me one question. What do you feel? I said, sir, har bacche ka dimag alag hota hai. Every child has got different understanding level. Then he asked me to do one exercise. He said, Vikas, take all those 40 kids, those who are getting 90%, 70%, 40%, take them for a movie. Take them for a movie in a theater hall. And he asked me one question. A child who's getting 90%, is he able to understand the movie at a 90% level? A child who's getting 70%, is he able to understand the movie at a 70% level? And child who was getting 40% marks, was he not able to understand the movie? And was he asking to the next man, hey, explain me what's going on in the movie? I said, no, a 40%, a child who was getting 40% was able to understand the movie with the topper in the movie hall. Then he asked me one thing, then why it is so when the same kid moves on to the classroom, he again behaves like 40% wala, 70%, 90%. So then I got the answer. What is the reason? I have seen the answer in the chat box. Yes. What is the difference in the movie hall and in the classroom? The difference was one. The starting with I, the answer is interest. Yes, this makes a huge difference. That is what the interest is lacking in the classroom. And this we have to see. Why it is so, why the kids, they go for the tuition centers, why they look for some private help when we teachers are there in the school. What is the reason why they go for that? There is some gap is there, and we need to fill that gap. And that one was interest, and that digital education is filling that gap. We can do a lot. When we say like we need to be creative, the creativity itself means the create activity. And this digital world has provided ample opportunity to showcase our talent and to modify and to redefine ourselves. So this is the one answer. Secondly, the adaptability. My own nephew, he went to IIM Bodh Gaya. Some of his friends were not able to adjust themselves. What Alpona ma'am shared, that they find them misfit in that particular environment. So many of the students, they are not able to they get adjust into this new environment. Maybe there are different factors, and this is what is we call it as an interest. Even my student, those who are CA, chartered accountant, when I go to the gym, I find many students and they're unhappy in spite of doing the CA, in spite of having a package of 40, 50 lakh, because they don't have the sense of fulfillment. So right from 6th, 7th, 8th class, we have to see what is their interest. If you can just Google out Tilak Mehta, a 13 years old boy from Mumbai having a company of 100 crore rupees. So how come he managed to have a company of 13 crore, 100 crore company at the age of 13? Because he knew what is his interest. Just go and find out the youngest author in India, youngest chef, Nihal Raj. At the age of 6, he's a chef. Just look for the youngest author in India at the age of 13. Just go and look for the Janvi, Wonder Girl Janvi. She speaks 13 languages. She was a BBC anchor. So what does it mean? The core of everything revolves around the interest. So this is the one thing we should train the student. First of all, you should know what's your interest, and then go for the further your education or any stream.
Great. Thank you so much, sir. I think it was so insightful, and the facts you're bringing to the table. Thank you so much, sir. I now hand, because we believe in skill development. Under our Edu internship program, we provide opportunities to school students and college students to come, develop their skills, and then not just, it's a very, very hands-on experience. And we have with us Miss Vrinda Sharma, moderating with me today on this webinar. Over to you, Vrinda.
Thank you, ma'am. So good evening, sir, and good evening, ma'am. So my first question is for Soma ma'am. So, ma'am, how can colleges and universities prioritize success? Like, if you could tell us some sort of strategies that academic leaders can use so as to, they can improve student retention and graduation rates.
Interestingly, Binda, I majored in sociology. And I think what made me continue with my education in sociology was a passion and an interest that I saw reflected in my professors. So that's something that I think, I don't know, I get to hear this a lot from my students who are currently studying in DU, that ma'am class ही नहीं होता, ma'am professors आते ही नहीं class में. So then what's the point of carrying on with this education? It might not be true for your college, I'm sure, but I'm sure because DU is such a plethora, it's such a vast network of colleges, that it might be true for other colleges which are not, you're from LSR, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So that I think is something which university professors need to really, really instill in students, the love for their whichever subject, whichever discipline that they're following. You have to embody it yourself. Only then will the interest and the love and the discipline come for the people who are for the pupils. The other thing, show them viable career opportunities. You know, take them to places where they can see themselves employed. So, what do you do with a degree in sociology? Teaching sociology in class is just not enough. Your professors will also need to show you that with sociology, you can maybe work in Google and figure out how best, or work for Facebook and figure out which post to put where so that you get maximum retention. Or how does Netflix figure out their web series? So show them career paths that might not be so clear to a 19, 20, 21 year old. And that career path need not be corporate. There might be some of you who are very research oriented. So give you the space to maybe write a paper. The biggest challenge of education becomes that after a point, it becomes like any other scarce resources. We tend to hoard it instead of sharing it, right? So because I have a doctorate under my belt, I will write 5 papers and I want sole credit for it. But if I were to engage 5 people who are 17, 18, 19-year-old in the process, give them due credit, it democratizes education, it serves the purpose of education, and it also then gives you that learning and that love. So I think if your professors, first embody the love for the discipline, show you viable career options, and also show you that in education, there's both the practical purpose of it and also the more philosophical part of it. If that happens, I think, we will definitely, we are in safe hands. Let's put it this way. The future generation will be in safe hands.
Very well, very well. I think I'll intervene here that, the whole idea where we're talking about mentors and mentees, that's the real way mentor the students by incorporating them, integrating in their, and aligning your vision and growth with their, helping them move ahead. Thank you so much. To you, Brinda, to you.
Thank you so much. That was actually a very beautiful answer. So now my next question is for Sudhir sir. So I will basically be reading a small short case study and then I have my question. So COVID-19 expedited changes in higher education that many predicted would happen over decades, forcing those seemingly distant changes to happen within weeks. The vision for what the workplace looks like next has moved beyond the traditional binary choice of on-site or telework. So, can universities designed around in-person interactions transform into hubs brimming with innovation enabled by an adaptive workplace?
Uh, yes. I think Brinda, right? Yes, that's a good
Yeah.
question. See, I'll tell you now the whole university's approach toward this scenario is is a new business model innovation. How we are doing it now with a more focus on hybrid learning, as I told before. It's not now campus centric education. Students can learn from anywhere or work from anywhere, because work from home is the new trend, right? Even we do work from home. Your parents might have done work from home. So likewise, learn from anywhere will be the new trend. Universities also adapting. Okay, the upcoming degrees, online degrees. How many universities came up with new online degrees just after the pandemic? I before to get a degree from IIT, people thought of getting into IIT, but you can get a online degree in IIT now easily without even going into IIT. Okay, so this is happening. Universities are trying to adapt. Universities are trying to learn how we can give this kind of innovative learning experience to the students. Okay, but one thing I will say for you people is the current scenario in higher education space is not hand holding as you get in your school education, because I did my higher education in IIT. I am working with a higher education university. You know, in your school, I keep on telling students who are attending these sessions, in your school, if you're getting less marks or if you're facing any problem, there will be a counselor to help. There will be a parent who is coming with you to the school, questioning the teacher, questioning the principal, asking you, seeking help. Instead of you asking help directly, they will come for you, they will do all these things. But today's scenario, once in higher education, once you enter, lot of students struggle in this, in this, as they couldn't get this kind of self motivation. I keep on telling, they can't go, they can't take the initiative. Simply, if you want a real premier education, you can't get it in your neighborhood today. If you really want to study in IIT or a premier institute, it might not be in your same city also. You will be traveling even out of the state or even out of the country. For that, you need to have that adaptability skills. You need to have that self initiation, self motivation skills. Okay, and nobody will be helping you. The current scenario in higher education is like, nobody will come and say if you are listening to class or not listening to class, or if you are failing the class, nobody will come and handhold you or force you to study. It's your initiation, it's your self discipline that can make you successful. Okay, all our university curriculum will give you more resources, will give you more opportunities. Even after pandemic, as a university, what we are trying to do to improve the social connect. Okay, what we are trying to do is, this practice is there, but between pandemic, it got a break. We send our students to rural communities, ask them to find out the problem they are facing. Okay, and we will give the resources. As a university, we will give the resources, but they need to come up with a solution. For example, there is a drinking water problem in the rural area, and these students will come up with a solution how they can give them good drinking water with the resources university provide. Or there is an electricity problem, they try to install solar panels. They will generate electricity using their own academics which they have learned. Okay, today you need to have hands-on approach towards whatever you are learning. Universities are trying to give that kind of multidisciplinary learning. It's not only about theoretical knowledge. You need to understand in a much better way. Okay, this is what my take on this. I hope I have answered your question. After pandemic, you have lots of resources, but the thing is, not every student is aware of it. Not every student is courageous enough to just take that opportunity. Today, people are doing 2 jobs at a time. I don't know how many of you can know that they can work on 2 jobs at a simultaneous time. They can study 2 degrees from 2 universities at the same time. You need to utilize that opportunity. You need to do the exploration. For example, I don't know, I'm taking a bit extra time. For example, as a student, if you're purchasing a dress, how much exploration you do. People will spend a lot of time in malls asking brands, colors, materials. The dress maximum you will be wearing for 1 year or 2 years. Career is for life. The exploration it requires is huge. Okay, you can't just go onto the website, just understand about the career and make a decision. You need to explore, asking people. You need to experience it through the eyes of the people who are doing that work. Okay, there's a lot of effort required from your side also to understand the innovations and to understand the opportunities all the universities are giving now. Okay, thank you. I hope I answered.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So now over to you, Ananya.
I have a question for Sudhi, sir. Over the past
If you could tell us something about you and your journey in selection and your struggle before you move on to asking a question to Sudhir sir. What is your stream, if any challenge, and then you can move on to. That'll be nice. Yeah. In case you are.
I'm in grade 12 and I study science. Basically, I have bio, physics, chemistry, and maths. And I've also taken up French. So I really want to go into research. So I was very clear with what I wanted to choose. So I never faced a problem with it because since start I knew I wanted to go into research. So I've never had a struggle with choosing my subjects. So
Great.
for the question, it's to Sudhir sir. Over the past year, COVID-19 has taken a dramatic toll on college students' well-being. The studies show that the mental health was worsening even before the pandemic. What can colleges and universities do in response to chart a course to improve students' mental health and well-being on their campus?
Yeah, see, universities, before even you enter into the universities, so first thing is the main learning happens in schools. Okay, even the COVID-19 effect happened, we try to conduct a lot of bridge programs to help you have that process of or shift from +2 to college. To make that process in a more seamless way, we conduct bridge programs to cope up. We have lots of clubs to make you engaged or make you refreshed, because right away once you come into university, I can't showcase this is a difficult journey you are going to get into. First thing, as a university, what we try to give is, see, these are the things which you can play around, these are the things which you can achieve. We will be starting on a positive note as a university, what I'm telling, because right away we won't show you like this is very hard subject, this is very difficult task, we can't survive here, it's a struggle here. That is not the approach a university takes. Any university today, I mean premier institutes which I'm talking about, they don't dwell upon straight away into academics. First thing is they will make you accommodate or they will make you adapt to the surroundings through various activities. There are lots of other activities, either it's a community service or either it's a coding camp or either it's a journey to the outside of the campus. So we will try to indulge you in various activities so that first you connect with the people, first you connect with the environment. That happens, but I can't say every university does it, but a lot of premier universities does it. You know, for example, I know the journey in IIT, I know the journey in Amrita. So it is very good. You know, if you go into it, then you experience it. So the journey of a student who is entering into IIT, I know a lot of people struggle also, but they try to help you to an extent where you will be lifelong connected to those people. You know, there are people with lots of good stories to share from their first year to final year, but a lot of students who struggle is they won't take the initiative to go and participate in that activity. Okay, because here in school, what you got used to is somebody forces you to sit in a program, somebody forces you to attend a program. In universities, there are programs that are happening, lots of various activities that are happening, but there won't be anybody to force you. Okay, there are, for example, in Amrita, 18 different clubs are there. As a fresher, you need to pick a club: astronomy club, dance club, music club, sports club. Okay, but nobody will come and say go and join any other club. But in school that happens. Okay, you can sit idle in your room not joining any club. Okay, but in school somebody will force you join some other club, don't sit idle. This is the main difference. Once you enter into higher academic space, we try to give you more scope, more holistic learning approach, not just academics. Okay, but you need to understand your mental health is utmost priority in higher education. You know, I see or I feel very bad if a student suicide is happening, because there is an effort to reach that level, but just because of 1 year of his hurdles, he's just taking away. It's like, it's a very soft or sensitive topic where a lot of emotional aspects are also involved. But you can get involved with people, try to involve in a lot of activities, either it's in school, either it's in university, that can take your mind off on other things which you're getting burdened. Okay, that will be my suggestion to you. Keep yourself involved. Don't just sit idle and don't just wait for somebody to push you into those activities. You take the initiative, start doing anything by yourself. Okay, then automatically everything will be sorted out. Okay, life is a learning process. It's not just a single day. We'll learn everything. So we'll start learning small, step by step. Everything can be achieved. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Sudhir sir. This was really insightful and it was very motivating. Considering that discussion is getting very interesting, time is less. That is why I said, don't miss out our 8th April mega webinar, which will be for a very long period of time. Your questions will be addressed by our esteemed set of expert panelists. Now, as we come to an end, as a tradition, I request and I give a minute to each of our esteemed panelists to comment on today's topic, and that would be your resting statement for today's session. And I would like to begin with Ms. Alpona ma'am. Ji ma'am.
It was indeed a pleasure listening to so many great people, and I'm sure the students, the teachers, and the other educationists who are connected today will agree with me that they had an even pleasurable learning session today. And I just want to finish off that we should motivate our children to pick up any stream at the higher level, which is very close to their passion, but at the end of the day, that financial burden they have to overcome is also to be taken care of, and they are true human beings, ever ready to face the challenges of the society.
You are on mute, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving on to Dr. Vikas. Yes, Dr. Vikas.
Yeah, first of all, ma'am, thanks a lot. You have made my day for inviting me for this amazing session. First of all, so much of insightful, and thanks to all the educators. So whatever I can gather and I can sum up is the students don't have a fear of failure. What I can see, because when you have so much intellect available, don't have the fear of failure. And what I call the spelling of fear is FEAR. So it is false, experience, assumed, real. So sometimes something bad happens and we take it, okay, it's permanent. No. And always be fearless to commit mistakes, because mistakes when happen, they are quite embarrassing. But when you have a collection of mistakes, it becomes experience. And even the Elvin Toffler said that an illiterate person of 21st century will not be a person who cannot read and write, but he will be a person who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So this is the philosophy that you should keep learning, keep committing mistakes, because mistakes is the first lesson to improve yourself. So this is what, in short, from my side. Thank you, ma'am.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Vikas. And we will definitely have you more, because your learning words are extremely, motivating and insightful. Keep motivating and keep inspiring. Moving on to Soma ma'am.
So my two bits here would be, keep learning. Don't take anything as something as a lost cause. And just like it's important to have a doctor, an engineer, the computer science geek, it's equally important to have a poet, a dreamer, a painter, a movie maker. So life is a box of chocolates, I think Podescom said so beautifully. And you never know what you're going to end up with. So if all of us were the same, it wouldn't be that much fun. So discover yourself, discover who you are. That should be your goal more than anything else. Thank
Great.
you. And I wish all of you the very best of luck.
Thank you so much, Soma ma'am. That's a great mantra. And that's actually a beginning of honing the various skill sets, because once you discover yourself, you've actually created a trajectory for your future life. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sudeep sir. Ji.
Yes, yes. Good evening. I hope, I think I have already made my statement, but I will tell you. So in this 21st century, in the age of AI, VR, AR, there are lots of new technological developments that are happening that can transform the nature of jobs, even that can affect the curriculums, that can affect the leaders that are there in place, that can affect lots of skills that are required also in the coming days. But one thing that is for sure is, as a student, all these technological advancements that require human touch. I think the counselor before me also told the panelists. So don't worry, try to continuously adapt to these things. So learn these things continuously. Don't constrain yourself from this learning process. Do not stop yourself or remove yourself from this learning process. Continuously keep on upgrading yourself in your life. And career is not a job. So it's a continuous process. You don't know where you will end up and what kind of opportunities are awaiting for you. So start improving yourself day by day. Everything will fall into place. Yes, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Sudeep. Really motivating. And a big thanks to each one of our esteemed panelists. And in the end, I would just, encapsulate certain points from all the discussions that happened. Was that I understand that since the onset of recent pandemic, schools, universities, we all have been forced to put a lot of the teaching online. And on the surface, this seems to have spurred a series of innovations, in especially the field of education, which has undergone real transformations. Just thought that institutions need to undertake true reforms, moving towards active learning and teaching skills that will endure in the changing world. That was one learning which I gathered from here. The other, what I felt was, as everyone spoke about, continuous learning. Formative assessment is more effective than high-stake exams in equipping students with skills they need to succeed. So these two will be the underlying thoughts. And we leave you with this. And please don't go away without watching the concluding audio video, our video, so that you get to know about our upcoming initiatives, campaigns, and programs. Stay connected, stay tuned to Futuristic Education. Thank you so much. Edudevs, can we have the AV played, please?
Yes, ma'am.
We apologize for the audio problem, and we would like you to be connected with us for our other initiatives. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alpona ma'am, for finding that time and sharing your insight with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Vikas. Thank you, Mr. Sudhir Katumala, and thank you so much, as always, Soma ma'am, for always supporting Edudevs cause. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you and all the best.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
And
and
we
bye-bye,
shall-
everyone.
we
Thank you.
shall
Best
see you
wishes.
soon on 8th of April.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.